So eventually this door will be unlocked during the day, and this will be the entrance to the Justice and Peace Center. Of course, we just moved in on Monday and we're still unpacking boxes and trying to find out what is behind all the doors in this very old, very cool church. So that's taking a little while, but eventually this will be the entrance to the Justice and Peace Center. Our goal is to start maintaining regular office hours and having it accessible to the public by the middle of February. We'll be promoting all kinds of justice and peace related events that are going on in Chattanooga, and we've already started with 2 flyers. And the first door, this room will be our social justice library. Just imagine this with bookshelves and a table for reading, and it will look very different. This is one of our first priorities to get set up, and we hope to have a story hour for kids in the neighborhood with some social justice themed children's books. We would hope to host some reading groups around different spiritual and social justice related issues. As we go on down the hall, this is the chapel. And this is where the majority of Mercy Junction's worshiping activities will take place. We are already, for the 4th day in a row today, we had our midday prayer service, which is going to be kind of the start of the scheduled day at the Justice and Peace Center. Will be the midday prayer service. It's called the Joy of Sext, and Sext is the traditional name of the noonday service in Christian liturgy, meaning that it's the 6th hour after dawn. So we are observing that as the start of the day at the Justice and Peace Center, with about a 15-minute service each day at 12:30 in the chapel. We hope to pull from the wisdom tradition of lots of different faiths, and it's also a time of reflection and just meditation and a way to kind of center yourself as you start the day, even for non-religious folks. Everyone is welcome to attend the services, and we especially want to encourage our building partners to be here, and those are the folks who have shared values with us around issues of equality and justice and peacemaking, and who are working with us to maintain our space here and to create space for them, and it's part of the infrastructure we provide. So that noon service is open to everyone, and everyone is invited to attend, and hopefully it's something, no matter what your faith or lack of faith is, you can feel comfortable with and just find it as a way to center and ground your day. The chapel will look very different. We have just gotten moved in, but we're planning on removing a lot of the pews, maybe keeping a row of those for, if people want to do more traditional type religious services. But we want to make this a space that's somewhere that people feel comfortable, a kind of a hangout kind of area. We want some couches in here, some chairs in here, some tables, and this space will be open at all times that the Justice and Peace Center is open. And if there's not a service going on or a meeting scheduled, this space is just open for people to come in and hang out, and we're going to have coffee and board games and things like that. So this is really a community space for our building partners, for the Mercy Junction community, and for the larger community that's around the center. There are all these cool and interesting little rooms. That door won't. All of these little rooms, and each of these rooms, I think there's about 8 of them. These actually adjoin the social justice library, the other part of it, through a door on down. And each of these rooms is going to serve as a section for the social justice library. Like, we might have a feminism section here, we might have a liberation section, we might have a section devoted to interfaith. We might have a section devoted to environmentalism, but each of the rooms will serve as a different section for a topic related to social justice and spirituality. The biggest challenges we face immediately is that the 2nd floor of the building is not handicapped accessible, and we think that's really a big issue because as a Justice and Peace Center, you can't have events in spaces where there's a group of people who can't attend those. So one of our first priorities is to get the 2nd floor of the center handicapped accessible. And what we're hoping is this room is handicapped accessible right now, and this is where we'll be having the majority of our meetings and events until we're able to make that 2nd floor accessible. But the goal is that in the next year we're going to be able to acquire some kind of funding to put an elevator in here that would go to the 2nd floor, that would make the rest of the building accessible for everybody.
So this is going to be the Fair Trade store. We're hoping to have a Mercy shop in here, and for us, fair trade will probably mean helping to have local artisans, crafts people, and then maybe some international artists as well, but giving them fair pay for the crafts that they get. It'll be a help for our income for the Justice and Peace Center and the center itself, so that we can have a regular income. We'll also be selling our Holy Heretic t-shirts here, our zine here. We'll be selling other people's periodicals as well. But it's going to be a really nice space. It's going to be at the entrance of the building across from the library, the Justice and Peace Library. And so then that way we can have people, when they enter into the building, they'll have a space and a store. We're also going to hopefully have some books that are picked out by some of the people in our communities that are justice and peacemakers, and some of them will be feminist, womanist, mujerista, some liberationists, some stuff for animal rights, but some resources that people might be able to purchase that they might not be able to find at other bookstores for justice and peace. And that's really what we're hoping this space will come to fruition in the next few months. We're going to clear all of this furniture out of here, move the office up to the office space, and then start moving in shelves and a register and different parts of that. And we're hopefully too in the future have it on an online store as well, so people can purchase stuff from the store online as well. And I'm going to be running the store as well as the workshop for Mercy Junction. So I'm really excited about that, because it's always stuff that I like to do, is to do the merchandise and the inventory and work with artists. I've already got a handful of artists who are interested, local, and some that are in Georgia that are interested in selling their work here. I already actually have some stock, some inventory that people have given me as well.
Going down the hall, this is the office for one of the congregations that meets here at the St. Andrews Center, a Spanish language congregation, and this is their church office here. And then as we continue on down the hall, and what we imagine is part of the resources that we want to provide to local artists is that eventually these walls will be an exhibit space for local art and can be a place where those artists can display their work, sell their work. So we really want to support the arts community that way. This entire part of the building is one of our building partners, Chattanooga State, has all of this. And it's they offer all kinds of adult education classes here, English as a second language, GED classes, and they're between semesters right now. But from what we understand, once school gets back into session, this will be a very busy place through here. This is the front entrance to the building, to the church, and we're going to be doing something with this space. We haven't figured that out quite yet. We have to get in the sanctuary.
We are in the sanctuary of the St. Andrews Center. This is so the front of the building comes in toward the east, facing Missionary Ridge. Across the street from us are the soccer fields that the Benwood Foundation has. There's a few worshiping communities that are in here. Mount Sinai, they're a Latino congregation. They meet here on Sundays, and so they do worship in here, but it's a fantastic space. It's a large space. It's a large congregational space for events and a wonderful space to use. It has a nice acoustics. It's a perfect acoustics. They used to know how to make, in these older buildings, because they were built before sound systems, they had to build them so that acoustics could project a lot better than in other buildings that we have today. So this is a very wonderful acoustically sound building. And it's a beautiful, I think a few years back, the Mount Sinai congregation repainted the walls. And it's probably due for a little bit more, but you can see that on this side, it's pretty nice with the painting. I'm kind of hoping too that aside from the worshiping communities that are using it, that it might be possible to use it for events. Having, if people want to have bands, there's definitely a couple spaces in front that bands could set up and concerts or any sort of event like that. Also, there's a big, huge screen that there can be movies in here. Yeah, I mean, as a meeting space, there can be speakers, any sort of big type speaker that isn't going to fit in a smaller chapel area. So this area is sort of the flexible for bigger events type area that we can have. And we'll be allowing other people, there's a few different communities in here, but we're going to keep a calendar and try to make sure that we maximize the use of the space for bigger events and that